this specific alt season is different, and this probably is going to be likely the last most aggressive and bullish alt season we're going to have in history. Therefore, the longer it takes, the more likely and the more aggressive the pump will be to the upside. Why haven't we had alt season yet? When is alt season going to actually start? What are we waiting for? Everyone's asking the same questions right now. And in today's video, what I'm going to do is break down the total market cap chart, Bitcoin and Ethereum using the ICT concepts to show you what I'm seeing and when we might actually realistically expect the altcoins to take off. So starting off with the total market cap chart, what you can see on the charts right now is my main target areas. This is the key area that I'm looking at. On the weekly time frame, we've been in consolidation galore. We've been consolidating over the last 5 to 6 weeks, and price has been within this dealing range. What we want to see is a major sweep of liquidity, and I am talking major sweep because we won't get an alt season unless we get mass liquidation in the market. Once we get that, that's when we would then confirm the fear in people, and we would then confirm price will move to the upside. On the daily time frame, what we can see is price has taken out previous week's highs. We've taken out this liquidity down here. We've swept this liquidity, and I'm anticipating price to close below today. And I'm expecting price to continue moving to the downside, and we'll get our first target met. The first target is 3.58 trillion. I want to see this hit aggressively and pretty quickly, and I can see that happening over the next 1 to 2 weeks. If we look carefully, we had a sweep of liquidity down here. We're having the sweep of liquidity down here. Providing price doesn't close above and stay above, I'm expecting price to move to the downside. If we get price close above down here, that is an official break of market structure on the daily time frame. I would also look on the weekly time frame to see if it closes on the weekly. But if that's an official break of market structure and a close above, I would then be looking for price to come into the region of around 4 trillion. Having said that, I'm still expecting that move to the downside. Like I said, we will not get the alt season until we get mass liquidations. Price has been consolidating, and it is somewhat hard to read right now what's going on because there's so much consolidation. But given that we've had this breakout, I'm expecting price to move to the downside. So what we can anticipate is going forward, we may see something like this. So price move to the downside, tap into this key region here. Once we tap into this key region, we can also go lower than this. And once we do, we want to see aggressive moves to the upside. And you can see this is a market maker buy model. So this is the sell side of the curve, and then we're anticipating the buy side of the curve to happen around this region. Now, Bitcoin. Let's go into the Bitcoin chart. So what we can see on Bitcoin right now is price has tapped in to the order block and this fair value gap. I've forecasted and mentioned it many times that I'm expecting BTC to come into at least the 100K region. Given that the total market cap chart moves down to around the 3.58 trillion, I would expect Bitcoin to move in alignment with that to around 100K. So what we can see is liquidity swept, order block tapped into, fair value gap tapped into, last week's highs broken, and we're expecting a close below. I mentioned that I also entered a trade. You can check out my previous video. I've given a full entry breakdown of the trade. So what I'm expecting is, what we can see is this sweep of liquidity. I'm expecting price to close below. If we do not get this, and we get an official break of market structure to the upside, a close above, then price is likely going to continue moving up into a key region. And that region I'm looking at is around 118,000 to 120,000. If we go on the 4 hour, we can see exactly where I'm looking. So there's a 4 hour fair value gap down here. So I'm expecting around this region, and I'll look for another entry for a short. But given how price is right now, I'm expecting price to move to the downside. So we can see that price has tapped into this area here. We've tapped in this order block down here as well. So what I am expecting is for price to come down, tap into this order block down here. If we do go lower, it will be around 103, 104,000. And if we do make it all the way, I would want to see at least 100K met. When we get that 100K move to the downside, I'm expecting price to come up at least bare minimum to the region that I said of 118 to 120K, stall around here, possibly even come a bit further down, and then we'll get a bigger move to the upside. And again, you can see down here, that will be a market maker buy model. So let's go over Ethereum now. Ethereum is the bridge between Bitcoin and the rest of the alts. Historically, when ETH starts outperforming Bitcoin, that's when capital begins to rotate into the smaller coins. And that's exactly what we want to see. So essentially what we can see right now is, again, consolidation galore. We're within this range right now. I do want to see this liquidity swept. If we get the sweep of liquidity, psychological level at around 4,000. If we get the sweep of liquidity, if Bitcoin's hits around 100K, that could be the move to the downside on our alts, on the lower cap alts, on the mid cap alts. And that's when you want to start buying. You can start dollar cost averaging the moment we begin to move closer to this region. On the daily time frame, what I'm expecting is something very similar. Come down into this region, at least take out this low down here. We want to see how the total market cap chart and also how BTC reacts. Based off that analysis, we would then anticipate where we're going to move for the altcoins. But since we've been in consolidation down here, I think the move down will be pretty aggressive. When we do hit this region, what we can expect to see is Ethereum will outperform BTC. That's when we'll start beginning to see the rotation in the smaller coins. And that's when we'll see the moves to the upside, the aggressive moves to the upside. So what we're actually looking for, we can't put a time on it. I know people say alt season normally happens around Q4, September, October, November. However, we cannot put a time on it because this specific alt season is different. And this probably is going to be likely the last most aggressive and bullish alt season we're going to have in history. Therefore, the longer it takes, the more likely and the more aggressive the pump will be to the upside. So what we want to see is the mass liquidations first. And then once we get the mass liquidations, we then want to see price move to the upside aggressively. When we get the mass liquidations, this is your signal to buy. We want ETH to outperform, showing more strength against BTC. We want the total market cap chart to move aggressively to the upside. That will be based on Ethereum's move and all the altcoins move. That's how I'm viewing BTC, Ethereum, and the broader market heading into the next potential alt season. But let me know your views. What are you thinking? Are we closer or are we still too early yet? Drop your thoughts and comments below. And if you like these videos, please can you like, share, and comment? I do daily videos like this.